folks, Wes with Woody Name Woodworking here, and today I'd like to talk about screwdrivers. This past week I've seen sort of a video conversation taking place on YouTube where people are asking, how many screwdrivers do you really need? Well, this is based upon a video put out by Scout Crafter who is asking the same question. It's not really meant to be a competition where you show off how many screwdrivers you have, but really a discussion, and to show how many you have. We all end up with a lot of screwdrivers when we get into this kind of stuff, and they just kind of keep growing and growing and growing. Without a doubt, PB Swiss makes my favorite screwdrivers. These rainbow colored ones are perfect for the shop. I've got them in flat tip, Phillips, Torx, a couple of stubbies, an incredibly long cabinet screwdriver, a few offsets, and the black ones are ideal for the job site. They've got a striking cap, a slightly beefier build, and really are ideal for the more rough and tumble environment you might find when you're building a house. I've never actually seen a number 3 Robertson screw, but if I ever come across one, this Irwin driver I picked up on clearance should do the job. Are you even into tools if you don't have an American-made set of Craftsman screwdrivers? These ones are used for anything but driving screws these days. Of course, the plumbing box has its own set of screwdrivers as well. These Vera screwdrivers have a surprisingly comfortable handle, even though it's sort of weirdly shaped, and they've got this laser etching that helps them grip onto screws. This Lennox 6-in-1 driver is kind of loose. You can hear it jiggle there, but overall it works pretty well. This VHA 6-in-1 goes pretty well with my framing box. At some point, you'll pick up a set of Klein screwdrivers. And that rapid driver looks like an awful lot of fun too. You might want to get a couple of insulated screwdrivers while you're at it. Then again, maybe those two aren't enough, and you want a whole set of them. Our hockey-loving friends to the north swear by the square Robertson drive. I picked these up on clearance. This massive flat-tip Gardner Bender screwdriver from the mid-90s is probably my favorite screwdriver, though I don't think it's ever been used to drive screws. Mostly it's been used to pry or pop out knockouts or break things apart or do really those things they tell you not to do with screwdrivers. This Milwaukee demolition screwdriver is supposed to replace the Gardner Bender. It's got a striking cap, little spaces to pry, and really it was designed to be used for demo work. I still prefer the Gardner Bender though. Adorable baby screwdriver that you'll never actually use? Oh yeah. Surprisingly pretty and expensive screwdrivers from Japan? Check and check. Can't forget the screwdrivers that live in the junk drawer. Most of this drawer is screwdrivers too. An array of stubbies, including a flexible ratcheting stubby for when everything has gone to hell. Things probably aren't going well if you have to break out this little ratcheting guy. This ratcheting number 2 Phillips from Vessel hides a secret. It's also a stubby. Electronics, computers, game controllers, they all have really tiny screws. These Cobalt precision screwdrivers have paid for themselves. I'll admit it, I'm a PB Swiss fanboy, so I had to pick up this pocket precision screwdriver. Honestly, these Hakko screwdrivers are better looking than they have any right to be. The 2022 Vera Advent Calendar was a bunch of screwdrivers and a wrench. Of course it was 10mm. I don't really like bit drivers, but I do like things that transform. And this little Vera certainly does that. These Vera ToolCheck Pluses might use drivers, but their versatility earns them a pass in my book. I've got nothing but good things to say about Harbor Freight's Icon tool line. And this little driver kit, it's pretty awesome. That little breaker bar is super handy. I picked up this sample set from Sonic earlier this year. The number 2 Phillips is fine. Hiding away back there is another driver and set of bits. These come from the Vera 2021 Advent calendar. They haven't gotten much use. So, how many screwdrivers are enough? And I guess the snarky answer is however many you need. But in all honesty, we all kind of have a lot more than we need. If I think about it, probably 90% of the fasteners I deal with are number 2 Phillips. Sure, I run into the occasional other thing, but for the most part, a Phillips screwdriver is going to cover all of my needs. So something like this Canadian-made Pickwick will probably cover almost all of your needs. It's got a number 1 and a number 2 Phillips, a T15 Torx, a number 2 Robertson, and a couple of flat tips. Honestly, that covers about 98% of the driving I've done over the past few years. In this day and age of electronics, however, one really can't get by without a set of precision screwdrivers. There's just too many tiny screws in computers and controllers and phones to think you could just get by with this. So, the Pickwick, the precision screwdrivers, and my favorite old screwdriver, this Gardner Bender, which I will never use as a screwdriver, but has proven itself time and time again. So honestly, got all these screwdrivers, I could get by with just these 3 for years on end. And I guess the sad thing is that even with all these screwdrivers and a bunch that don't really get used all that often, I still want more. Could it be an addiction? I don't know. Is there a Toolaholics Anonymous? But if I'm being honest, I still want to try out those new channel lock screwdrivers made by Mayhew. I really like the Vessel stuff. I'd like to explore that line some more. And the Napros are gorgeous. Not just the wooden ones, but they've got some that have like this cork handle. That's pretty awesome. And I've also heard that the screwdrivers made for like rifle and gun making, gunsmithing, are amazing. I'd like to check some of those out at some point too. I'm sure I will come up with more screwdrivers that I want to check out as time goes on. But all these screwdrivers don't really worry me. Honestly, it's not that bad of a collection. Pliers. That's my real problem. I'm going to make a video about that pretty soon because I have no excuse for the number of pliers I've got, and I'm still adding to that collection.